City hailed for grassroots football ticketing initiative from the 14th of November 2014. The Championship Club hope a pioneering scheme where ticket sales are split with local teams will benefit all levels of the game. Acclaim and Birmingham City appear unlikely bedfellows given recent turmoil at St Andrews, but the Championship Club is being heralded for a pioneering ticket scheme designed to support grassroots football in the Midlands. Faced with falling attendances since relegation from the Premier League in 2011, the same year that they beat a certain team that a certain co-host supports in the Capital One Cup final. Just thought I'd mention that. Martins! Just thought I'd mention that. Anyway, and encouraged by the Blues Collective Supporters Group, Birmingham City have launched an initiative aimed at directly funding amateur football teams while increasing their own home crowds. Under the scheme, local football teams and leagues sell tickets at a discounted rate for home matches, £10 for adults, £5 for 13 to 18 year olds and £3 for under 13s, and receive 50% of the proceeds towards their own running costs. The Save Grassroots football campaign, which is calling for the Premier League to give 7.5% of its broadcasting income to the grassroots game, where participants are falling and pitch fees are rising. We've been through the decline of the grassroots game in details back in our summer segments. Check those out. iTunes, Mixcloud, Podomatic, Spreaker is where you can find our podcasts, especially Mixcloud, where we've got a permanent archive. Has described Birmingham's step as an important breakthrough in the relationship between the professional and amateur games. Their hope is that others will follow the Championship Club's lead. We view it as a win-win for all sides, said Wayne Cohen, the head of ticketing and retail at Birmingham City. We understand how important grassroots football is through the work we do in our academy, and we want to be supportive of it. The added bonus for us is extra supporters in the stadium, many of them youngsters who will hopefully become future Birmingham City fans. As with all clubs coming to terms with life outside the Premier League, Birmingham's attendances have suffered sharp declines since the club dropped to the Championship 3 years ago. Their last game at St Andrews as a top flight concern, a 2-0 home defeat by Fulham in May 2011, attracted a crowd of 27,759, while Gary Rowett's second home match as manager, Saturday's goalless draw a week ago against Cardiff City, drew only 15,950 people. Birmingham's initiative followed talks between Blues Collective and Kenny Saunders, the founder of the Save Grassroots football campaign. Saunders has organised several protests over rising pitch fees and poor facilities in grassroots football, and having received little backing from Premier League clubs, views Birmingham's scheme as an encouraging step. It's fantastic what Birmingham are doing to help teams and leagues in their area. They understand the problems in grassroots football and football in general, given their own experiences over the last few years. They want more people watching their games, more homegrown players coming into their system, and to help grassroots football. Their initiative addresses all of that. We've asked Premier League clubs to do this, but they don't need grassroots football. Their grounds are sold out week in, week out. But it would be nice to see all clubs getting behind the National Grassroots Day each year. They do non-league day, but it's not grassroots day. It's not quite the same thing. It has taken one team, a big club like Birmingham, to step forward and do something for grassroots football in their area. If every club ran a similar scheme for just one game a season, backed by the Football League and Football Association, it would provide massive support for grassroots teams and facilities in their local communities. A National Grassroots Day every season would keep local leagues going for years. Birmingham are compiling a league table of tickets sold by each local team, as well as keeping 50% of the ticket revenue. Participants will be invited to take part in a dedicated grassroots day at St Andrews next year. Cowan explains the scheme is running now, but we will be making a feature of it for the Rotherham United game on April 3rd. We hope to give teams who are part of the scheme an opportunity to be guard of honour, or to lead the teams out, or play on the pitch at half time. We want to show how it has benefited the teams and leagues involved. We get a lot of requests from grassroots teams for kit or signed merchandise to help them financially, and this way we give an opportunity to teams that want to help themselves. The scheme is in its infancy, but hopefully it will attract hundreds, hopefully even thousands more people to our matches. You know what? I like this initiative, and I'll tell you why. Firstly, I play for Ibis FC, an amateur league club, as you well know. And of course, the club has been struggling in terms of recruitment and that kind of thing. So, let's say Fulham, for instance, who are quite near to Ibis's home ground at Dukes Meadow in Chiswick. Imagine they were to say, right, we'll set up a ticketing scheme with you, or we'll sell our tickets as normal, but we'll give some of our proceeds towards your club. That would potentially enable us to do a advertising campaign to get more people into the club, to be able to have a dedicated social media campaign to get more people into the club and sustain the club. See, this is just one idea. So I think that's fantastic. And the thing is, of course, with like initiatives like this initiative that Birmingham City have started, it's fantastic. You just need other teams on board with it. But it's fantastic. The Save Grassroots, I think it's at Save Grassroots on Twitter. Check them out. We've retweeted a few of their things. They're actually trying to get a petition going, and the fact of the matter is, we can't let grassroots football die, because if the bottom falls out, and Samir Saunier said this in his Pitch Talk Meets interview, it's a case of, if the bottom falls, the pyramid's upside down, but without a base, the game can't continue. And this is where it's so important. This is where it's so important to keep the game going. So I think Birmingham City, congratulations. Save grassroots football. Keep up the hard work. I can say. G-Man, do you want to add anything to this before we move on?
No, I'll just on the light note, I just want to say, keep up the good work, and anything that helps grassroots. And we've spoken about this in verbatim for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Grassroots needs all the help it can, and anything clubs in the position of the Premiership, Championship, League One, League Two, anything they can do to help the leagues below them is just a sterling effort. Definitely.
I mean, especially financially, because one of the major things. I mean, of course, Birmingham are going to benefit from it, from extra fans and that kind of thing. There's nothing wrong with that. They're not taking fans from the grassroots game to be supporters of Birmingham. It's a case of they're helping give something back, so that people will come through their turnstiles. Like it's similar to what we mentioned about a week or two ago about. And the discussion that we had, that people would be more willing to pay high prices if they knew that a portion of it was going to charity. One of them was the PTB, the powers that be in the game may want to listen to that idea. More clubs and also the powers that be may want to follow Birmingham City's example. Commend them for it. Really do commend them for it. Gotta keep leagues like the Amateur Football Alliance, the Amateur Football Combination, among others, Southern Amateur League. We've got to keep these entities going, because that's where people give their blood, their sweat and their tears. One of them was, especially personally.